hello everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of the MAINcast. This is one of our Outside of the SOS Theater series. We're really excited to have two brand new guests for you from Olive Branch Theatricals. Calliope, if you want to talk a little bit about the SOS Theater Fest and the MAINcast, and so the audience can get a little bit of a caught up to what we're doing here.
Yeah, so our new SOS Theater Festival, which has a theme of social media, is going to be starting in August, on August 28th through October 16th. Every Friday night, we will have a new show for you, a new performance. All of the shows are free. And then every Tuesday before the show, we're going to have a MAINcast where we interview some cast and crew members from the upcoming show. And in the meantime, until those start up again, we're having these extended MAINcast episodes where we interview people from Santa Clarita and from all over LA, talking about other professional theatrical endeavors. And in this case, we're talking about music. So I'm really excited to bring these extra MAINcasts to you until the SOS Theater Fest starts. We're also going to have an extra show on August 14th. That's going to be with Barry Agan and Nancy Lantis. And we're going to have a MAINcast with them as well the Tuesday before that show.
Yes, and if you want to find any of our events, you could find us at facebook.com/themainnewhall. Right now, I am repping the 10x10 that is coming up. We have International 10x10 this coming up Thursday, where we'll announce the winner of our variety talent show, You're the Best, with your host, even Steven, and a couple of other crazy, wacky shows for the Main. So please follow us on the Main's Facebook page, our Instagram page, and any other social media device so you can find out about all of our shows. The Main Facebook. You can also look us up at themain.com, at themain.com, .org. I apologize, at themain.org. And so we're ready for the interview. So if Robert and Taylor would both please arrive, and we'll start the interview. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
So, if you could please introduce yourselves and give a little bit about your personal background in theater.
Okay, perfect. I'll go first. First of all, thank you guys so much for having us. We're really excited to be here. Well, my name is Robert Brady, and I am the Vice Chairman of the Board of Directors of Olive Branch Theatricals. My background in theater is, it's a great question, but listen, I wasn't really brought up as a theater kid or anything like that. And part of the thing, one of the reasons why I love theater so much is that it's such an accepting community. No matter who's been involved in it for a long time, I'm just jumping in. So I have a little bit more of a business background in what I do, and a musical background as well. But theater was something I got into a little later in life and fell in love with it. And that's what I spend a lot of my time doing now, which is really interesting.
Taylor, if you would introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's my turn. My name is Arnone. I am the director of the new group Portfolio that's coming out. And I've been involved in theater for a few years. Actually, throughout my time in high school, I was on the behind the scenes with the technical crew. I did a lot of that locally. I went to Hart High School. And then in college, I became a lot more involved in theater. Was in several shows while still maintaining my technical background as well. Other than that, I'm also a musician. And so the arts and I have been together a long time.
Amazing.
That's wonderful. I think we're going to jump right in. So first of all, what is Portfolio? So excited to learn about this new group that's starting up.
Yeah, I'm really excited, as I know all of us over at Olive Branch are. So Portfolio is what we're calling a premier vocal ensemble. It's going to be based in Santa Clarita. And our goal is a smaller group, somewhere between 8 and 16 or so people. We'll see how it grows organically. And it's going to be a variety of singers who are from different backgrounds. Could be classical, musical theater, jazz, kind of a mix of everything coming together to provide a service to the community of good music. And it will be part a cappella. Some of it will be with an accompanist. We're hoping to grow it where we can have different ensembles and guests with us as we grow. But our main focus is to first be a group that serve Santa Clarita as our community, but we're also looking to branch out into the internet world, things like YouTube channels, and we'll be focusing a lot on videos and media in that sort of world, the YouTube world and things like that. But that's a brief version of what we're going to be. I'm really excited, and I'm sure we'll get to it later, but auditions are coming up in a few weeks, and that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I have something that I'd love to build on that, if I may. Taylor talked a lot about like the singers and the types of they're going to experience within the group, and I want to talk about kind of the community aspect of it. Olive Branch Theatricals has been around for about 2 years now, and in that time, we have taken part and been asked to take part in so many different community events. And Stephen and Clive, you guys work for the city, so you know just how many events the city has alone, and then there are all these other groups that also have events. And we were being asked to come perform and be present at these different community events, which is awesome and absolutely something that we want to do. But it got us thinking, clearly there's a need in the community to have a quality performance of some kind that's lean and that's not a ton of people, that can go into these community events pretty quickly without having to do, a full-on set and costume like that. We're getting a little bit strenuous on some of our actors to kind of uproot a show and take it on the road, so to speak, to some of these different community events. So we decided that we would create a group that was modeled specifically to be that really effectively. So that's the event side of it, which is obviously on hold at the moment. But on the video side, we're really planning to extend the Olive Branch model and our philosophy and how we treat people, how we treat our volunteers, also in the quality that we put out. So we want to take what we've been able to do in Santa Clarita, extend that through video, YouTube, like that. So we're really excited.
I think this is a perfect time to kind of segue into another question that maybe deals with portfolio, but kind of deals with the overall as an artist. What are some challenges that you are facing as an artist in this time in terms of finding or maintaining theatrical work, artistic work during quarantine?
So for me, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Robert.
Yeah. For me personally, as someone who's more in a position that facilitates platforms for artistic expression, obviously there is a little bit of a delay in what we can do on that side. Some programming, specifically in theater programming, right? But we're going through really dark times right now as a planet, but we like to look at the positive side of things a little bit more rather than focusing on struggles. And we are a group of people that absolutely loves strategic planning. We treat Olive Branch Theatricals as a business. We are a nonprofit, but we treat it as a business in the way that we run it. We believe that the arts deserve that respect, and we believe that our volunteers deserve that respect. Attention from planning from the side of the directors that are involved in the organization, as well as the board of directors. So we have taken this opportunity, as dark as it is right now, but we look at it positively. We've been able to plan really a lot of things for the next 2 years, regardless of when society is able to open up a little bit more or not. Have some really, really cool and stuff like that coming up. So I'm excited. I love it. Just your plan.
Awesome. Taylor, did you want to talk about your personal experience?
So right now, I mean, obviously as a musician, or as any sort of performer right now, there's nothing going on. And so I guess you could say that now would be a good time to take a look for me, I'm looking in the future when we do have this group and things open up. I'm looking right now at repertoire and what are people doing? What are people reacting to in terms of audience, and both online and in person. And so it's a lot of what Robert said, thinking of, okay, when this does open up and when we can actually be in front of audiences again in person, what does that look like? Let's have a game plan and move forward so that we can hit the ground running when that does happen. But it's just an interesting time. My normal work, I work in the entertainment industry, film and TV, and so it's really interesting to see right now the delay. But if any industry is going to do it, that industry is trying to find a way to safely come back to work. And so getting some ideas for how productions, film and commercials and stuff like that are coming back to work gives us good insight of, okay, these are some protocols that we can practice when we do have, or when the time comes for rehearsals and stuff like that. So it's like Robert said, it's a time of strategic planning.
Are you, within your planning, like, if it gets to be a long time before we can perform live, are you planning on rehearsing digitally? Are you planning on, cutting songs and putting them on YouTube before you're able to perform live?
Yeah, that's a great question, Calliope. And I think the answer to that is kind of in the philosophy behind what portfolio is itself. Something that's really exciting about this group and what we wanted to do when we model is a group that's really, again, lean in terms of the amount of people involved. And we also are looking for a high caliber vocalist who are able to do some rehearsal on their own. If you've ever been involved in, choir when you were a kid or something like that, this is not that group. It's not looked at as a youth choir or anything like that. We're looking at it as really a professional endeavor for us. So with the flexibility of the model and the caliber positions that we're looking for, we have the opportunity to kind of put things on hold if need be from a rehearsal standpoint. Have the ability to hit the ground running whenever we need to. So we are really flexible. But when it comes to any kind of in-person rehearsals that we have, even after things are opened up slightly, have a plan to still, even at that point, have safety at the forefront of our minds. We have masks actually that are specially designed for singers, which is interesting, but everyone will get a mask. We also have made large plexiglass barriers that people will be able to kind of be in their own glass box. So we put a lot of time and thought and investment into safety even after things open up as well.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that you guys are taking such a cautious and professional approach to it, because it's so necessary, and I think the end product will be just wonderful. Because it's done safely and it's also done so well and with all that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Are you planning to only rehearse in person, or will there be rehearsals on more of an online basis sometimes, or do you feel it can be a combination of both eventually?
I think it's a little too early to tell that right now. As we continue and we see what is happening in the coming weeks, I think at that point we'll come a little closer to a decision. But right now there's just not enough information out there. So I think that'll be one of those, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, with, of course, careful planning. But I don't know yet. I'm not a huge fan of the issues with technology right now. I don't know how conducive this specific group would be to rehearsing via Zoom or something like that, but I'm not opposed to it, and I think it's just too early to tell. But obviously, whenever we do come back, it's on our shoulders to make sure that the singers feel safe, that everyone feels that they're coming into a safe environment, health-wise and just for singing in general. But it's too early to tell.
And I mean, I echo absolutely everything that. And at the end of the day, for vocalists out there, singing over any kind of virtual situation, especially singing together, is next to impossible. Let's just call it spade a spade. That's just. I think the platform works great for like but not necessarily as well for a vocal. Something that I want to kind of drive home is kind of what I said before. We are very planning at Olive Branch. I mean, we have things planned in 2023 already, just benchmarks that we want to hit. And our goal in having on September 12th for portfolio is so that we can also continue that process. So absolutely there can be and will be meetings via Zoom, strategic planning via Zoom, and also with the vocalist. There's a lot of things that we want to decide together as a group, but that's not necessarily rehearsals quite yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Speaking of planning and everything that's kind of culminating in Olive Branch right now, are there any maybe any sneak peeks or shows that you can that you're working on or talking about working on currently, or that you're like, ooh, this is what, as soon as we open up, we really want to do this show that you want to talk about, or any shows like that in general?
Yeah, a couple sneak peeks. Two of them are a little bit more on the obvious side, and the third one is a little bit more abstract. So I'll do the obvious ones first. But we did have to push back two of our productions already. So Life Could Be a Dream, which is going to be at the Newhall Family Theater, has been pushed back to 2021, obviously pending the COVID situation at that time. And we've also made the decision to push back Arsenic and Old Ways. And the reason that we did that is these are both shows that people in our organization, including very, very passionate about. And we're passionate about doing them the way that the authors intended them on the stage. So those are definitely happening. We've pushed back everything with the rights company. Everything's good to go there, but it's really important to us to perform on stage, even if we're having to push them back again. So those are still coming up, more specific dates in the coming months. But Life Could Be a Dream is already capped, which is fantastic, and they're doing great. They actually did have the opportunity to rehearse before everything shut down. So the show is like probably 80% of the way there. Kind of interesting, but that's just going to be spectacular. The vocalists are all singing in like harmony the whole time, and classic tunes from the 1960s that are interwoven throughout the story, and it's just kind of it's like a coming of age, but also like a Pygmalion story. Like the group is not super great to begin with for guys who are teenagers, and then they just improve and excel throughout the show and end up going into a competition and stuff like that. So it's just a really good time. The next show is the Arsenic and Old Ways, which I mentioned. That actually was set to audition in August, and had over 50 people signed up for auditions. And we just had to email all of them individually and say, sorry, especially staff, but we'll let you know when we have firm dates for future auditions and things like that. But I'm super excited about that show because a lot of people respond to that name. I've never seen the old Cary Grant movie. It's super funny, a lot of fun, but also a little bit with like a dark sense of humor, which is my thing. So we're really excited about it. But the third thing that is a little bit more at the forefront of our minds is the thing that we're creating at the moment. But we are really, really passionate about extending our reach as a company into areas in the that maybe you don't typically go see theater. I think Zoom production has done a lot to help that, getting people who don't necessarily see theater to kind of have a little bit of an exposure to it. But for us, the way that we've chosen to go about that, create our own in-house OBT studio. So that's kind of been my baby for the past few months, just kind of strategically planning how that would look and what we're trying to do there. But we've put together a really, really solid team. We've invested in the necessary equipment. We're going to be doing a lot on the film side, even outside of the confines of portfolio. So we're really, really excited about applications of that, and then the reach that we can give the Olive Branch Theatricals model beyond Santa Clarita Valley, but also the reach that we can provide in theater and VR, and that's.
I think that's so wonderful that you guys are prepping so much so that when you come back, you can really hit the ground and you can hit the ground running in all of these projects. And I think that is really commendable. And it's kind of okay to wait to produce shows at the moment so that when you come back, everything is already planned out. And I think, it's, everybody's taking a different approach to it. And I think that your approach is awesome because, when you come back, then everything will be just the way you want it with the teams that you're building. Taylor, did you want to speak more about like working with Olive Branch and your experience on, joining this company and joining Portfolio?
Sure. I've known Robert and Stephanie and the team over there for a while. And when they first started up, I thought, oh, this is interesting. It's going to be another arts group in the Santa Clarita Valley where we'll just see what happens. And every show that my wife and I have been to, we've always come away saying, you know what? I love the way that they're functioning, and I like their vision. I like their push for quality shows and a quality experience for both the audience, but also for their cast. And so when they came to me and asked me if I'd be willing to join the team, it was a little bit of a no-brainer, because it just seems like it's a well-oiled machine. Even though they're a young company, the organization and the planning and the passion and the drive to produce a better and better product and better organization is there. And so it just made it very easy to go in. I mean, obviously you can tell just from all the thinking that Robert's been doing in this time of COVID land, what I'm talking about. And so I'm very excited to be joining them. We've been supporters since they started, and I hope that the relationship will continue for many years.
I think it's really interesting to have Olive Branch within a MAINcast, as Olive Branch has done shows with the Main for 2-3 years now, I believe.
2 years.
3 years. Thank you very much.
2 years since we started.
I think it's just, it's nice to have somebody who's consistently part of the Main's family. And as one of the house managers there, and also the technical director currently of the Main, and I think it's just one of those things that like really inspires me, just to have these people, this group come in, and they know what they're talking about. They know what they want. They ask questions that are very well formulated, and they know they're not afraid to ask a question. And I always love that aspect of working with Olive Branch. And thus it's always a fun show to have Olive Branch in the building, whether it's Red Riding Hood or King Arthur or why am I forgetting the last one that was just but
Cowboy Christmas Carol, I remember that.
Cowboy Christmas Carol. How could I forget Cowboy Christmas Carol? But it's always been a joy to have Olive Branch in the building, because I think it just brings community. They amplify community, and they amplify family, and you bring in so much to that. Robert, could you speak on Olive Branch's mission? Like, do you feel like the mission is to bring families and community together as a very strong thing, or what is the full, like, what do you feel like is the mission of Olive Branch currently in this time compared to like when it started?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think the mission has always really been the same. We drafted our mission statement back when we were doing our nonprofit paperwork and trying to figure out, like, who are we? What are we trying to do? Why are we doing this? Because if you don't have a why, then why are you doing it, really? There's no purpose behind it. So we put a lot of thought into what started the company. And I don't necessarily think it's changed over time, but it has absolutely strengthened and broadened, which is so much fun to be a part of. And specifically what we're all about is not necessarily bringing families together, it's just bringing people together, right? At the end of the day, we want to be a place, an organization that really takes people from maybe potentially 2 different walks of life, 2 different people groups, 2 different experiences. We shove them together in a show, or we shove in a performance group or something like that. And I think there's something that's so powerful about that, because we really are better together. And I know that's such a tired, overused phrase, but we absolutely are. If we can take the best people from, Newhall, and the best people from Valencia, the best people from Saugus, King, like everywhere, and put them all together, people who have experience with theater, people who don't have experience with theater and are just starting out. But let's take the passion, let's take that love of what we all love doing, is producing, quality programming, and let's all do it together rather than separately. And we have that same attitude with how we work with other arts organizations within Santa Clarita as well. We have a very close relationship with them, because we believe we are all better. And if we do something to help out production, we absolutely will, because there are out there who have stepped up to help us too. And that's really fun to see. And we just want more of that. Internally, so that's kind of our external mission. And everything that we do is kind of measured against that. Like, why are we doing this? Does it fit within that scope? The internal mission, and Taylor kind of touched on it a minute ago, we wanted a space where volunteers felt very taken care of and really loved, because that's what we should be doing with everyone that comes into our organization. And that's not to say, there's a really difficult line that we need to discuss, right? The line is, you can trust your volunteers well, but then not hold the line to have a product in the end. Well, we want to do both. We're never going to be wishy-washy. We're never going to compromise our quality at the end of the day. But we're going to be nice to people, and we're going to make sure that we foster an environment within our programming and production that's going to help people feel safe and secure. That's going to make people feel cared after. That even to make people feel like they look good on stage. I go on stage in a costume that they don't feel comfortable in, or in a costume that doesn't fit because they didn't get the proper measurements, or the costume designer didn't have the skill. We don't have that issue because we have Janet McNanny, who is a fabulous costume. But all of those little things tie into the overall experience that we want our volunteers to have, because it's their time, and on their time they want to be, I believe that people want to be challenged to be better and to put on something that's really special and makes them feel proud of something. I mean, we all want that. We're humans. Every chance I get, I try to set up whatever program we're doing, or whatever leadership we're rising up with, or whatever show we're doing, to kind of follow that path. So that would be my response to the mission statement question.
I think that's the perfect place. Sorry, Clyde.
Oh, you're good. No, I was just gonna say, I always love working with you guys. When we're at the Main and Steve and I are house managing, I'm always excited for Olive Branch to be there, because you are all such wonderful, genuine, kind people. So I know that I always have a great experience, and you certainly, just exude all of that compassion and passion for the arts whenever you do any show, or just even when we're just having a meeting together or something. You certainly live up to that statement. So it's so impressive to see you succeed in that way, because you guys do a great job.
Thank you.
I think this is a perfect end the episode, because I think leaving it with Robert's statement of bringing people together, and through this dark time, even, we're bringing people together with this MAINcast. With really look out for portfolio, check out Olive Branch on social media, and as well, Robert, if you could, what Olive Branch's website, if you could, or web.
Absolutely. We have our website. It's theatricals.com. Pretty easy to remember. We have our Facebook too, so just put our name in the search there and we'll pop right up. And then our Instagram as well, which is just @Olive Branch Theatricals.
Yeah, so please look them up, follow them, check their website out, watch everything they do. So thank you so much, Robert and Taylor, for being here today for the episode 11 of the MAINcast. Look for us for episode 12, and we will see you soon. This is Santa Clarita. So thank you to everyone, and especially thank you to our panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it.